The Galactic Council chamber shook with noise and arguments as thousands of alien delegates shouted over each other. The giant hologram floating in the center of the room showed Earth burning, cities collapsing under explosions, flames rising into the sky, and human distress signals echoing across the chamber. Every species watched the destruction like it was entertainment, their cold eyes reflecting the fire spreading across Earth. And still, nobody moved to help. Council Leader Vrax, tall and covered in silver scales, raised his hand. The room quieted. His voice carried across the hall like a blade cutting through the air. Earth is on its own, he said. Humanity refused our control. So now let them suffer. Some delegates cheered. Others laughed openly. A few even clapped their hands together in satisfaction. For them, Earth's pain was justice. Humanity had always been the outsider species. Too independent, too unpredictable, too dangerous to trust. And now they were alone, burning, dying. But one corner of the chamber remained silent. The human delegation stood motionless. No fear, no panic, no emotion. Admiral Ethan Cole stared at the hologram with eyes as cold as deep space. His jaw was tight, his hands folded behind his back. Ambassador Mira Hale stood beside him, her face calm and unreadable, almost peaceful. And strategist Raiden Ward typed quietly on a small slate device, not even looking up at the chaos around him. Aliens glanced at them with smug smiles. They expected tears, panic, begging. But the humans did nothing, because they already knew the truth. The Council believed Earth was helpless. The Council believed humanity had no secret allies. The Council believed humans were finally about to break. But humanity had been waiting. As Vrax continued his speech, boasting about Earth's weakness, a low tremor rolled through the building. At first, aliens thought it was a system malfunction. But the vibration grew stronger, traveling through the floor, shaking the walls, making lights flicker. Delegates looked around with sudden confusion. What is that?" someone shouted. The hologram of burning Earth flickered. Another tremor hit, stronger. Then another. Then the entire chamber rumbled like something enormous was approaching. Suddenly, every window on the upper levels darkened as if a giant curtain had fallen over the stars. But there was no curtain. Something massive was blocking the light. Sensors screamed. Guards rushed forward, raising weapons. Delegates ran toward exits but froze as the shadow grew larger, stretching across the windows like an eclipse swallowing the galaxy itself. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a fleet. It was a moving shadow larger than the entire council tower, bigger than anything their scanners had ever recorded. Alien delegates panicked. "That's impossible. No object of that mass exists. Are we under attack? Sensors are failing." Why are sensors failing? Alarms blared. Lights flickered again. Every alien heart thumped in fear as the shadow drifted silently overhead like a sleeping god awakening after thousands of years. Only the humans remained still. Admiral Ethan Cole didn't move. Mira Hale didn't blink. Raiden Ward simply saved a file on his slate. And then, after a long silence that felt like the air itself had frozen, Mira Hale spoke in a soft, calm voice. "You betrayed Earth," she said, her tone almost gentle. "So now we deploy." The chamber went dead silent. Every alien felt their blood turn cold. Deploy what? Deploy how? What had humanity been hiding? Before anyone could ask, before anyone could understand, every screen in the chamber suddenly went black. Then the Council's master broadcasting systems activated on their own, sending a message to every star system, every world, every ship in the galaxy. A message from Earth. No anger, no threats, no screaming. Just 3 simple words, written in a plain white font. Protocol Iron Dawn. And across the galaxy, everything changed in a single heartbeat. Far from Council space, old abandoned human outposts, long thought to be empty ruins, suddenly glowed with bright blue energy. Doors that had been sealed for centuries opened as if someone had finally returned home. Massive defensive rings, hidden inside asteroid belts, began to rotate, waking from their slumber. Their engines hummed like ancient beasts stretching their limbs. In deep space, forgotten Terran satellites powered on, sending encrypted codes across light years, codes that triggered machines built for a war no one ever knew existed. Aliens stared in shock as their screens lit up with emergency reports. Unknown human activation detected. Sector 900, massive power surge. Old Terran gates online. How? They were shut down for 300 years. Human signatures detected on multiple moons. Repeat. Unknown human military installations awakening. The galaxy had believed humanity was weak. But humanity had been preparing for betrayal long before today. On a frozen blue moon near the edge of the galaxy, giant metallic doors broke open beneath layers of ice. Inside them lay shapes the size of mountains. Machines resembling titans asleep on their knees. Leviathan-class war machines. Each one capable of destroying a moon. Each one powerful enough to rewrite battle doctrine. Each one waiting only for a single activation command. That command had finally come. Iron Dawn. Their eyes glowed red. Their engines roared alive. The ice over their bodies cracked and exploded outward as the machines stood tall for the first time in centuries. On a lava world, buried Terran factories that no alien had been able to understand suddenly started forging weapons, giant cannons, armored suits, and high-energy rail platforms that could pierce super-dreadnought armor. No humans touched them. They were fully automated. Programmed thousands of years ago for only one purpose: to rebuild Earth's war potential the moment betrayal occurred. Across star clusters, small silent human outposts that the Council believed were abandoned research stations changed their lighting from blue to red, signaling full war footing. Alien leaders watched in terror as more reports flooded their screens. New human communications detected, encoded, cannot decrypt. Human war signatures rising across all regions. Unknown human hyperlanes opening. How many do they have? Council scanners cannot track human movements. We're blind. For the first time, every alien realized the truth. Humanity had never trusted the Galactic Council. Humanity had expected betrayal. Humanity had prepared for it. Back in the council chamber, Vrax stumbled backward, fear draining the color from his face. What have you done? He shouted at the human delegation. Raiden Ward looked up from his slate for the first time. His expression was calm, almost relaxed. You chose war the day you allowed Earth to burn, he said softly. Mira Hale stepped forward. We gave you peace. We warned you about the real enemy. We asked for unity. Her voice grew colder. You answered with betrayal. The ground trembled again, this time from something colossal emerging behind the shadow outside. The stars reappeared for a moment, and then vanished again as something even bigger arrived. On every alien world, people screamed as their skies filled with enormous silhouettes, shapes of Terran war platforms, orbital fortresses, and heavy dreadnought markers. Humanity was not just deploying ships. Humanity was deploying everything. Old alliances, hidden armies, ancient technology, forgotten weapons, and a power the galaxy had never seen before. Protocol Iron Dawn was not a message, it was a sentence, a promise, a judgment. The galaxy watched in fear. As the truth became clear, humanity had been quiet not because they were weak, but because they were waiting. The message Protocol Iron Dawn spread across the galaxy like lightning cutting through darkness. Every communication screen, every starship panel, every planetary display flashed the same words. No one understood what it meant. No one had ever heard of it. But everyone felt something deep inside their bones. A cold fear that spread slowly, like ice creeping across skin. Across alien worlds, leaders stood from their seats as their war rooms lit up with warning lights. Civilians rushed out into open fields, staring at the sky as strange lights flickered between the stars. Even children, who did not understand war or politics, felt something shift in the air. A silence too heavy, too unnatural. Something old was waking, and humanity had been waiting for this moment. On a distant frozen moon, the wind howled over endless sheets of ice. For centuries, nothing moved, nothing breathed, nothing lived. But now the ice cracked with a deep rumble as massive metallic doors beneath the surface began to open. Blue lights flickered inside the darkness. And then something stepped forward. A giant metal foot. Then another. Then the full shape emerged. A Leviathan-class war machine, taller than mountains, its body glowing with ancient Terran energy. When its eyes opened, bright red light spilled across the moon's surface like sunrise after a long winter. Its engines awakened with a roar that cracked kilometers of ice all at once. It lifted its head toward the sky, as if listening to a silent command. And then, slowly, the Leviathan began to move. Not one, not two, but dozens. Hidden for centuries, forgotten by the galaxy, yet perfectly preserved, waiting for this exact day. Meanwhile, deep below a lava planet's crust, enormous Terran forging factories, silent for hundreds of years, came alive. Molten rivers glowed brighter as ancient engines roared, forcing the heat to shape metals no alien species had ever learned to bend. Sparks exploded like fireworks. Robotic arms moved quickly, assembling weapons that had designs older than many civilizations. No human touched these machines. They didn't need to. They had been programmed before the Council was even founded, programmed for the day Earth would be betrayed. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, alien delegates stared at the news feeds in horror as more alerts appeared. Unknown Terran signals detected. Systems unable to process. Multiple human outposts online. Cannot access their codes. Ancient Terran weapon network activated. No override possible. The Council leadership trembled. They had expected Earth to beg. They had expected humans to bow. They had expected humanity to break. But instead, humanity had silently opened gates that the galaxy didn't even know existed. Far across space, long-forgotten human star gates. Massive rings orbiting dead stars, powered on with bright, blinding light. These gates had remained inactive for so long that the galaxy believed they were ancient ruins left behind by an extinct species. They were wrong. Those gates belonged to humanity, built during an old age when Earth fought enemies beyond imagination. Built for a war the galaxy had never seen. And now those gates were waking, spinning faster and faster until their centers erupted with pure white energy. Ships began emerging. Silent, dark, colossal. The first ship to appear was so massive that alarms screamed across multiple star sectors. It moved with terrifying grace, its metal hull glowing with blue lines like veins filled with lightning. Alien ships nearby backed away immediately, unable to comprehend the scale. Its name appeared in their scanners. Tyrant of Dawn. Terran Supremacy-class flagship. The ship's shadow fell upon planets like a second nightfall. Aliens watching from afar froze, unable to even breathe. Then another massive ship appeared. And another. And another. Soon, the sky looked like a swarm of giants rising from deep sleep, each one older than the Council's oldest star charts. Back in the chamber, Council leader Vrax stumbled away from the screens, shaking his head in denial. This cannot be. Humans don't have this kind of power. They don't. He stopped mid-sentence as another alert appeared. Terran strategic silos on all abandoned worlds, online. Human cryptic codes spreading. Council systems locking down. Terran hyperlane webs activated. Unknown technology. Vrax looked at the human delegation with wide, terrified eyes. "What have you unleashed?" he demanded. Raiden Ward finally stopped typing and looked up. His voice was soft, controlled, almost gentle. "You believed you were weakening us," he said. "But you were preparing us." Ambassador Mira Hale stepped forward, her expression calm but her eyes burning with something deeper, something almost painful. "When Earth begged for unity, you mocked us," she said. "When we warned you about the real enemy, you ignored us. When our people screamed under attack, you watched." Her voice grew heavier, trembling with quiet anger. "You didn't just betray Earth. You betrayed the future." A deep vibration shook the chamber again. This time, it wasn't from the shadow outside. It was from something bigger. On thousands of alien screens, a new nightmare appeared. Every sky across every world lit up with Terran warship markers, hundreds of them forming in tight formation like a silent storm waiting for release. Children cried. Warriors froze. Old leaders whispered prayers to gods no longer worshipped. Because they all knew one thing. This was not humanity looking for revenge. This was humanity revealing the truth. The truth that Earth had never been alone. The truth that Earth had secrets deeper than anyone imagined. The truth that betrayal had awakened a power older and darker than the Council could ever control. For the first time in history, the galaxy understood something terrifying. Humanity had not risen today. Humanity had been watching, waiting, preparing, and now, humanity was coming. The galaxy remembered the sight of Earth burning. But what the galaxy never knew was everything that led to that moment. Because the truth had been buried under lies, politics, and fear. And now, as humanity's hidden war machines awakened across the stars, the truth began to rise from the ashes. Slowly, painfully, like a wound reopening. For the first time in years, the galaxy saw Earth's past. It began with a forgotten recording. A hologram flickered to life across thousands of screens, showing a younger Ambassador Mira Hale standing in the Galactic Council chamber, years before the betrayal. Her voice trembled with urgency. "The Vorkesh are returning," she said. "We have detected movement in the dark sectors. Their ships are rebuilding. Their numbers are rising. If we do not act now, we will all fall." But the Council had laughed at her. Council leader Vrax had smirked. "You humans and your fear," he said. "You imagine monsters in every shadow." Myra's recorded face had hardened. "These monsters killed billions the last time they came. They do not negotiate. They do not show mercy. They consume." But the Council dismissed every report, every warning. Because they already had a plan. A secret plan. A deal forged in silence with the Vorkesh. Earth had presented maps, scans, battle simulations, proof of the incoming threat. Human scientists had begged the Council to prepare. But every time humanity revealed another piece of evidence, the Council grew colder, angrier, more suspicious. They didn't want warnings. They wanted control. And they feared humanity more than they feared extinction. As the hologram faded, countless alien citizens across the stars stared in shock. They had believed Earth exaggerated. They had believed the Council's lies. But now they saw the truth. The Council had silenced humanity, ignored them, and pushed Earth into isolation. And as the Vorkesh finally approached Earth, darkening the skies with their terrifying armadas, the Council did nothing. Not because they couldn't help, but because they wanted Earth to fall. The present-day Council members in the chamber shifted uncomfortably as the truth spread across the galaxy. Their faces paled as their own people watched the old footage and realized the betrayal came not from humans, but from their own leaders. In the chamber, Admiral Ethan Cole stood still as more recordings played, this time showing what happened the day the Vorkesh first returned. Earth's early warning systems lit up, one after another. Human ships scrambled to defend the outer colonies. Families rushed into underground shelters. Cities prepared for the worst. And then came the final transmission from Earth's defense network. Calling the Galactic Council. Earth requests immediate assistance. We are under attack. The message went out. Every species heard it. Every planet heard it. But the Council remained silent. They let Earth scream. They let Earth burn. They let Earth fight alone. And when the screams stopped, when the cities fell quiet, when the fire faded, the Council simply turned away. In the present, as these images replayed like ghosts stepping back into the living world, aliens across the galaxy felt their hearts twist with guilt, fear, shame, and disbelief. In the chamber, Council leader Vrax tried to speak, his voice shaking. "This recording, it's edited. Humans are manipulating." His words were cut off by a loud metallic thud that echoed through the chamber. Everyone froze. The sound grew louder, heavier, like something enormous was walking toward the building. Delegates backed away from the windows, terrified to look outside. Then, slowly, a shadow passed over the glass. A shadow too big to understand, too heavy to measure. It made the entire tower tremble. Outside stood a human Leviathan war machine, one of the titans that had awakened from the frozen moon. Its red eyes glowed brighter than the city lights below. It towered above everything, staring directly at the council chamber as if waiting for a final command. Alien guards dropped their weapons, shaking. It's looking at us. It's waiting. What do the humans want from us? Inside, Ambassador Mira Hale closed her eyes for a moment. Her voice, when she spoke, was filled with pain, not anger. You asked what humanity wants, she said softly. We wanted peace. We wanted unity. We wanted a future. She opened her eyes. There was sadness in them, heavy, deep human sadness. But you wanted power. You wanted control. You wanted us broken. Raiden Ward took a breath, stepping forward. What the galaxy is seeing now, he said, is not vengeance. It is preparation. Admiral Ethan Cole finally spoke, and his voice was the coldest of all. The Vorkesh did not attack Earth alone. A stunned silence fell. Every alien turned toward him, unable to believe the meaning behind his words. Ethan continued, each sentence sharp as steel. They were guided. They were directed. They were given coordinates to our defenses. Vrax stumbled backward. No, that's impossible. Ethan didn't blink. You gave them the codes. A scream escaped one of the alien delegates. Several others collapsed back into their seats. Others covered their faces with trembling hands, because they all knew the truth now. They felt it. They saw it in the recordings. The betrayal had been too perfect, too precise. The Council had done more than abandon Earth. They had delivered Earth to the enemy. And the reason was simple. They feared humanity's potential. They feared Earth's growing influence. They feared a future where humans stood equal. So they chose to destroy Earth before Earth could rise higher. Across the galaxy, billions watched the truth unfold. Some cried. Some trembled. Some whispered apologies that Earth would never hear. And others stared in awe as the human Leviathan outside took one slow step forward, making the entire chamber shake again. Not as a threat, not as a weapon, but as a reminder that Earth had survived, a reminder that humanity had rebuilt, a reminder that humanity had come back stronger. Mira Hale looked around the chamber one last time. When you left us to die, she whispered, we did not fall. We did not surrender. We did not break. Her voice grew stronger. We became something else. Ethan Cole lifted his wrist, pressing a silent command. Outside, the Leviathan war machine kneeled. Kneeling to the humans inside the chamber. Delegates gasped. Silence swallowed the room. Mira spoke the final words that shook the galaxy. You wanted to erase Earth, but you created our rebirth. The galaxy thought it had already seen enough. The awakening of the Leviathans. The activation of ancient gates. The resurrection of Terran outposts. But everything so far had only been the beginning. Because Iron Dawn had not revealed humanity's strength. It had only removed humanity's restraints. Outside the Galactic Council Tower, the Leviathan that had been kneeling suddenly lifted its head. Its red eyes narrowed, focusing on a point far beyond the city, beyond even the star system. Its armor plates shifted, unlocking with a sound like mountains grinding together. Delegates felt their hearts stop as the giant rose to full height again, towering so high that clouds brushed against its knees. Lights along its body pulsed with deep blue energy, forming veins that glowed brighter with every second. Inside the chamber, Admiral Ethan Cole stood perfectly still. He didn't look proud. He didn't look angry. His expression carried something heavier, grief. Because humanity never wanted to show this power. Humanity had hoped the galaxy would never see it. Mira Hale watched Ethan carefully. She knew the cost of what he was about to do. She had lived through Earth's darkest nights. She had buried people she loved. She had watched cities burn because the Council refused to believe her warnings. She whispered softly, "Are you sure?" Ethan didn't answer. He didn't need to. Raiden Ward stepped closer, quietly placing a hand on Myra's shoulder, a gesture of silent understanding. Even he, the strategist who had helped design Iron Dawn, looked shaken. "What we do now," Raiden said under his breath, "changes the galaxy forever." Ethan finally spoke, his voice low and steady. "It already changed the moment Earth burned." Before anyone in the chamber could react, the ceiling panels opened on their own. Not physically, but through holographic projection. It was as if the chamber roof had dissolved, revealing the sky above. Except it wasn't the sky. It was the void, a view from far beyond the planet, like someone had pulled the camera of the universe downward to show them everything. Delegates gasped, stepping back in fear. There, suspended above their world, hung not one human supership, not even a dozen, but hundreds, silent, massive, deadly, each one shaped differently. Some long like blades, others wide like shields, many shaped like ancient war sculptures carved into the dark. But all of them radiated the same message. Humanity had not built a fleet. Humanity had built a warning. The first ship that caught every eye was the one casting the biggest shadow. Tyrant of Dawn, a Terran Supremacy-class Titan. Its single forward cannon was bigger than the entire Council Tower. Its engines glowed with white-blue fire so intense that stars around it looked dim. Small lightning arcs snapped across its wings, raw energy barely contained. Then came the second Colossus, Seraphim's Spear, the silent executioner. No lights, no markings, only a thin black hull that bent the starlight around it, making it look like a shadow carved into reality. It was said to strike without warning, destroying fleets before sensors could register its presence. And then, a third Titan emerged from hyperspace, dragging a shockwave behind it. The Hammer of Earth, the ship that legends called unstoppable. The ship that ancient Terrans built to fight gods. Every plate on its armor held symbols from Earth's lost cities, a reminder of humanity's history, culture, and sacrifice. Aliens in the chamber stared with trembling hands, unable to speak. Some fell to their knees, others clutched their hearts. Some whispered prayers to gods they abandoned centuries ago. Because these were not warships, these were monuments of wrath. Raiden Ward typed something on his slate. Immediately, the hologram zoomed out further, revealing more. An entire human armada stretched across space like a second horizon. Rows and rows of dreadnoughts, destroyers, carrier ships, biomechanical cruisers, stealth wings, drone swarms, and formations so perfectly aligned that they looked like a single breathing organism. And as if the armada sensed they were being watched, all ships aligned their lights. A synchronized flash. One blink. One message. "We are here." Council Leader Vrax stumbled backward, his legs shaking. No species, no nation, no homeworld could build this. Humanity does not have the resources. Ethan Cole turned toward him. "You never looked in the right places." A ripple of fear shot through the aliens. Mira Hale stepped forward, her voice calm but filled with something deep, an ancient sadness only humans could understand. "You forced us into exile," she said. "You silenced us when we spoke truth. You watched our world burn and smiled." She raised her hand toward the illusion of the fleet. "So we built elsewhere, in forgotten sectors, in hidden nebulae, in space the Council never dared explore." Raiden added softly, "We were building an answer, not to you, not to your power, but to the threat you ignored. The Vorkesh, the ones who had killed billions, the ones who were returning again, the ones the Council had secretly supported." Ethan's voice grew colder. "We built weapons to stop the darkness, not to use against you." He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of every alien leader. "But you chose to become part of the darkness." Outside, as if responding to Ethan's accusation, the Leviathan war machine moved again, lifting its massive arm toward the sky. Blue fire crackled around its fingertips, gathering into a swirling orb of pure Terran energy. Delegates screamed, "Is it going to attack? Stop it. Make it stop. Humans, control your monster." But Ethan simply watched, and the Leviathan didn't fire. Instead, it extended its arm toward the human fleet projection, like a soldier saluting the command it had waited centuries to obey. Humanity had unleashed something the galaxy could not match. Not numbers, Not weapons. Not technology. What humanity had unleashed was preparation backed by pain. The pain of betrayal. The pain of loss. The pain of being ignored. The pain of being underestimated. Mira Hale placed her hand on the council table, leaning forward with eyes full of steel and sorrow. "You thought Earth was weak," she whispered. "But weakness does not build titans. Weakness does not awaken leviathans. Weakness does not create fleets that bend the stars." Her final words were soft, but they hit like thunder. "You did not destroy us. You forged us." Silence consumed the chamber. Not a single alien dared to breathe. Because they all understood, finally and completely, humanity wasn't showing power. Humanity was showing restraint. And that was the most terrifying truth of all. The chamber felt colder than space itself. Not because the temperature had changed, but because every alien inside finally understood the truth. Humanity had not come for revenge. Humanity had not come for war. Humanity had come for judgment. As the human fleet hovered across the cosmic horizon, thousands of alien leaders across different worlds stared at their screens in silent terror. Civilians gathered in streets, schools, marketplaces, temples. Everywhere screens existed, watching the sky as human war signatures brightened like a new constellation of doom. No alarms rang now. No one dared speak. It was as if the entire galaxy held its breath. Then came the first message. A simple broadcast. A single, glowing sphere appeared in the sky over every planet. Not a bomb. Not a ship. A Terran AI drone, floating silently, humming with a soft golden light, cast no shadow. It offered no threat, but its presence alone made leaders tremble. In the council chamber, one such drone drifted forward, floating above the delegates' table. Its smooth surface cracked open and formed a glowing face. Not human, not alien, but something ancient and mechanical. When it spoke, the voice was calm and beautiful, but cold enough to freeze blood. "Council of the Galaxy," it said, "you are charged with betrayal." No one moved. No one blinked. The drone continued. "You ignored Earth's warnings. You silenced their pleas. You allied with the enemy. You delivered a world to death." Council Leader Vrax collapsed into his chair, shaking violently. He tried to speak, but words refused to leave his throat. The drone turned slowly, its golden light sweeping across every alien in the chamber. "Your crime is recorded. Your names archived. Your decisions preserved for history." Raiden Ward exhaled slowly. He knew this moment was coming, but even he felt the weight of it. Mira Hale stood stiff, her fingers trembling beside her robe. Her heart carried the grief of millions of humans who died unanswered. Ethan Cole kept his eyes cold and steady, because he remembered every scream. The drone glowed brighter. "But your fate," it said, "will be decided after one demonstration." The words stabbed the chamber like a blade. "A demonstration? What demonstration?" "We surrender. Just stop this." Panic grew, but the drone ignored them. Suddenly the hologram returned, this time not showing the human fleet, but showing Earth. Not the burning cities from before. Not destruction. Something else. Something worse. A new Vorkesh armada approaching Earth, the second wave, larger than the first, darker, hungrier. It moved like a cloud of black knives drifting through the void. Their ships were alive, twisting unnaturally, whispering through the vacuum like insects crawling inside the mind. Aliens gasped. Some screamed. As the horrific sight unfolded, the Vorkesh came again, seeking to finish what they had started. But this time humanity did not run, did not hide, did not plead. A rumble shook the entire galaxy as something enormous awakened on Earth. From the frozen heart of Antarctica rose a shape so massive that satellites lost their orbit tracking it. Ice shattered like glass. Mountains crumbled. Storms erupted as the massive structure lifted itself free. It was no ship, no machine, no fortress. It was Avalon Titan, a Terran supercolossus, built in secret, designed not for war but for ending wars. Its armor glowed pale white, absorbing sunlight like a living star. As it fully emerged into view, even aliens across the galaxy felt their knees weaken. The AI drone spoke again, its voice softer now, almost reverent. Humanity built this to save you. The chamber fell silent. Then the Titan moved. It raised its arm, gathering an impossible storm of blue-white energy. Clouds split apart. Lightning danced across the sky. Oceans trembled. Earth itself shook beneath the machine's power. The Vorkesh fleet opened fire. Beams dark as dying suns shot toward Earth. Avalon Titan didn't dodge. It didn't shield. Its core released a single beam, thin as a needle, bright as creation. The beam cut through space like silk. One moment the Vorkesh armada existed billions strong, stretching miles wide. The next moment there was nothing. No ash, no debris, no survivors. They were gone, vaporized, erased, unmade. The council chamber erupted in disbelief. That beam destroyed an entire species. No weapon should have that power. How did the humans build that? What are they? Some aliens fainted. Some broke down crying. Some screamed hysterically for forgiveness. But Ethan Cole stood like stone. Because humanity had not built Avalon out of pride. Humans built it because no one else would stand with them. Outside, the Leviathan war machine synchronized with the display, raising its arm in the same motion as the Titan, as if honoring a lost sibling. Mira Hale spoke softly, her voice full of sadness deeper than oceans. We never wanted this power. We wanted allies. We wanted peace. Her voice cracked, just slightly. But when the galaxy turned its back on us, we turned toward our duty. She looked around the chamber, her eyes red and tired. To protect life, even lives that abandoned us. Aliens lowered their heads, ashamed. Raiden Ward wiped a tear from his face. A rare, vulnerable moment for the strategist known for being unshakable. He whispered, "Billions of humans died believing the galaxy hated them." The drone floated higher, dimming its golden light. "Your judgment is not destruction," it declared. "Your judgment is truth." Every alien stared, confused. Truth? What truth? The drone answered with a message that made the galaxy tremble. Humanity is not here to conquer. Humanity is here to warn. The chamber froze. Warn? Warn about what? Ethan Cole lifted his head, and for the first time that day, emotion appeared in his voice. A quiet, broken whisper. The Vorkesh were not the only ones who woke up. The room turned to ice. Mira closed her eyes in silent agony. Raiden's face went pale. Every alien realized it at the same time. The galaxy had feared humanity. But humanity had been fearing something else. Something older. Something darker. Something that even the Vorkesh feared. And that something was coming. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of a galaxy realizing it had never understood the humans. And now it might be too late. The Golden Terran AI drone hovered in the center, its light dimming slowly, as if the truth it carried was too heavy even for metal to hold. The hologram of the Avalon Titan faded, leaving the room darker, colder, more unsure. Every alien stared at the human delegation, their eyes full of fear, guilt, regret, confusion. Admiral Ethan Cole stepped forward. His boots echoed across the marble floor, each step sounding like a countdown. His face was carved with loss, with memories of a world burning, with the weight of billions who died believing the galaxy did not care. Mira Hale watched him, her throat tightening. She had fought beside Ethan for years. She had seen him broken, rebuilt, scarred, reshaped. But she had never seen him like this. Not angry, not furious, not even cold, but hurt. A hurt so deep the galaxy itself could feel it. Raiden Ward lowered his eyes, unable to watch Ethan carry this alone. Raiden had seen the files, the messages from Earth's last defenders, the videos of families screaming as the Vorkesh ships descended, the desperate pleas to the council that were met with silence. He had memorized every face, and every one of those faces lived in Ethan's eyes. The Terran AI drone spoke again, its voice quieter now. The Vorkesh were not alone in the darkness, it said. They were only scouts. Gasps filled the room. Some aliens collapsed into their seats, shaking their heads. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be true. But Ethan Cole did not deny it. He stood tall, his voice steady, calm, absolute. Deep in the void, he said. Beyond your maps, beyond your fear, something older is waking. The chamber temperature seemed to drop. Something the Vorkesh ran from, Ethan continued. Something they worshipped as death. Delegates trembled. What is it? A species? A machine? A god? Ethan didn't answer. Instead, he turned toward the holographic sky projection and gave a silent command with his wrist. The projection changed. Darkness filled the chamber. A starless void. A depth so black it felt alive. Then a ripple. Not of light. Of absence. As if reality itself was bending around something enormous moving through it. A sound followed, not a sound of the ears, but a vibration in the bones. A low, thunderous hum. Deep, ancient, hungry. Aliens screamed as the void expanded, forming a swirling wound in space. A tear big enough to swallow fleets. Then a shape emerged. Not a ship. Not an organism. Not anything the galaxy had a name for. A massive silhouette of shifting darkness, covered in symbols older than galaxies, moving like a living shadow that swallowed stars in its path. It shrieked without noise, its very presence devouring light. Every alien in the chamber felt its gaze, like something impossibly large had noticed them and was amused by their terror. Mira Hale leaned forward, gripping the table so hard her knuckles turned white. "This," she whispered, "is what humanity feared." Raiden Ward swallowed hard. "They call it the abyssal root, the first darkness." The hologram intensified, showing dead star systems. Entire constellations wiped clean, planets sliced apart like soft fruit, nebulae drained of color, life, energy, hope. Ethan Cole's voice came soft, too soft. The Vorkesh were not conquerors. They were running. The room erupted in shock. Running? From that? The Terran AI drone pulsed with warning light. Your betrayal weakened the galaxy. Your silence crippled unity. Your fear blinded you. It floated closer to the council elders. But humanity survived long enough to face the darkness. Vrax shook violently. "Why show us this? What do you want from us?" Ethan turned toward him slowly, and for the first time his voice trembled. Not with fear, but with something darker, something tired, broken, human. "We wanted you to stand with us," he said. "We wanted allies. We wanted friends." His eyes hardened. "But when Earth screamed, you closed your doors." Mira Hale's voice cracked. Tears finally escaped her eyes. "When children begged for mercy, you looked away." Raiden Ward clenched his fists, jaw shaking. "When our people died alone, you told the galaxy it wasn't your responsibility." The drone dimmed again, whispering, "And yet, humanity still protects you." Aliens looked up in shock. "Protect them? From what?" Ethan answered, "Because despite everything you did, we are still human." He breathed once, heavy, painful. "And humans do not abandon the innocent." The projection zoomed out, showing the abyssal route moving toward inhabited space. Death approaching. Unstoppable. The human fleet suddenly rearranged itself, forming a massive defensive wall across the star lanes. Titans aligned. Leviathans knelt. Avalon Titan turned toward the void. Humanity was not preparing to attack. Humanity was preparing to shield the galaxy. Even the ones who betrayed them. Mira Hale whispered the final message, the one that would echo through history. "You feared us for so long, but the truth is simple." She stepped closer to the delegates, tears falling silently. "You needed us." The Terran AI drone delivered the last line. "Stand with humanity, or be the first devoured." The chamber fell into complete silence. Then the lights died, not from malfunction, from something approaching. A shadow passed across the council windows, not human, not Vorkesh. Something else. Something vast. Something hungry. something that made even the human Leviathan step backward. Ethan Cole stared into the growing darkness outside and whispered the words that ended the chapter, leaving the galaxy in breathless suspense.